What is up, folks? David Lee here, one of the admins on the page, Longhorns. It's about 6:45. I want to jump on here and just do a live video, as it says in the title. Something I've been thinking about a lot as we're entering into spring ball here. 5 reasons that Texas could actually be worse this fall in 2019. Don't mean to come off as negative or down, but just some of the main issues that I've been thinking about, looking at what's going to be coming up with us this fall. So jump on here, definitely share this out, give it a like, get some more people on here, let me know your thoughts and concerns. And these aren't the top 5 reasons, like in terms of ranking them number 1 through 5 in any particular order. They're just kind of 5 big issues that I see, for the team going in, while so much is swinging toward optimism, which is totally understandable. Sam's going to be a 3rd-year starting quarterback. Colin Johnson's coming back. We've got, most of the offensive line coming back, a fantastic depth at defensive back, but really thought it'd be interesting to look at 5 kind of concerns or 5 reasons why Texas may actually finish with a worse record in 2019. So anyway, jump on here. We'll get started. Number 1, and again, this isn't number 1 through 5. Welcome on, Wyatt. Welcome on, Leon. But jump on here, guys. Drop a comment if you can hear me okay, and let me know your thoughts as we go through these. I won't go through them rapid fire. If you have anything, thoughts, just jot them down in the comments and tag anybody that you want to jump on here. So mine, number 1, just the first one, is the lack of depth and experience at running back. I see a massive loss in Trey Watson not being there. I thought he brought exactly what you would expect from a graduate transfer last year. He was great as a receiver. He was there in the 4th quarter when you needed him. And, I love Keontae Ingram. I love what he brings to the table. I love his talent. I love his balance. I think toward the end of the season, we saw him maybe wear down a little bit, which I definitely expect that to change for his 2nd season. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he gains some weight, adds some muscle, and, I fully expect him to get the bulk of the touches. And, you've also got Daniel Young there, who's a bigger back, who gets more red zone carries and more toward the goal line. But Daniel Young is not going to be a guy that you can count on to even get 10 to 15 touches a game. And then you look at Kirk Johnson, who's supposedly healthy. He's been injured his entire career at Texas. I'm assuming he's going to be a junior again because I don't even think he's played a snap in the past 2 years. He's supposed to be back. He's kind of your electric runner. And then you've got true freshman Jordan Whittington listed as a running back in the spring roster that just came out. So he's actually listed as a running back. I fully see him being used as a running back / receiver, a lot like a Christian McCaffrey or a lot like Ramonce Taylor, during the Vince Young years. I fully expect him to get a significant amount of touches from week 1. There's no way they're not going to figure out how to get this guy the ball. So that's kind of the optimistic side. The kind of the concerning side for me is just the lack of depth and the lack of experience at running back. I would have thought that if they were going to bring in another graduate transfer, that they would have done that by now before they started spring ball. So maybe this is who they roll out with, but we'll see. And obviously there's some more guys on the roster that we didn't know about. Leon says that Trey was vastly underrated last year. I definitely think so. Keontae Ingram had more of a a bigger impact in terms of like yards per carry, which is a huge stat for me. I always look at yards per carry because that's just flat out more effective. It's more efficient. But man, Trey Watson, his blocking ability, his ability as a receiver, and his ability to just get tough yards, I thought was just awesome last year. And it was his only season at Texas. So to get a guy like that to stick in there in the backfield and to trust like that, that's a massive loss. That's a big loss for the offense. And I don't think enough people are really talking about that enough. Wyatt says, I could see inexperience on defense being a problem. Yeah, we're going to talk about the front seven here in a second, Wyatt. That's one of my 5, the entire front seven. Okay. Leon says again, Ingram has gained quite a bit of muscle. Hope so, and I fully expect it. I mean, these guys going from their freshman to sophomore year should be the biggest gain in muscle, the biggest gain in the strength and conditioning program that they go through their entire college career, from freshman to sophomore. We saw Colt McCoy do it. We've seen it countless times. So, yeah, hopefully he does. He seems like he has a pretty big frame. He's not a lanky running back. He's definitely more of a Jamal Charles type of running back, I think, that can make quick cuts, accelerate fast, and has just absolutely elite balance. Okay, let's jump on to number 2. My number two reason why Texas might actually have a worse season this year is little Jordan Humphrey's ability to just outbody defenders. Okay, we talked a lot about, he was in a perfect spot for that offense. Devin Duvernay, Colin Johnson, deep threats down the field, on the sidelines, using the sidelines to their advantage, Colin being able to out-jump anybody, on the field. But LJ brought a specific physical trait for this offense that is going to be incredibly hard to replace. And that was him being in the slot and being able to just outbody people. Just like a power forward in basketball, just being able to put himself between the ball and the defender. Whether it was a quick throw for Sam, but that gives Sam an incredible level of confidence when he's throwing. Okay, that can't be understated. Sure, he's still going to be confident in his other receivers, but not having LJ there and losing that confidence of being able to do a quick throw and pick up 5 yards or 7 or 8 yards, and his ability to carry guys with him after the catch. So that's a big concern for me that's not going to be there. If Brew McCoy's eligibility is given the green light, which every indication is that he will, I'm not sure why it's taking so long, so that's a little bit of a concern for me. But there's no way he shouldn't be able to get in games this year. So I would fully expect the true freshman Brew McCoy to fill that slot role. He's got the big body. I think he's definitely faster than LJ, but I think he's got that big body to fill that role while still having Colin and Devin Duvernay as the deep downfield threats. The only other guy I see kind of filling that role would be Joshua Moore. He's not as thick as LJ was, but he's definitely tall and kind of can still be that big target for Sam. So that's a big concern for me, and see what you guys think about that. Leon says we need some bigger plays this year. Yeah, Leon, you and Wyatt are kind of reading my mind, so I've got those kind of coming later. Brent says, if Brew plays, I believe the loss of LJ won't be as much of a difference. Brew is the real deal. Yeah, exactly kind of what I was saying is that I really see him being able to fill that role. As a true freshman, I don't know. Man, Brew McCoy and Jordan Whittington look like they've been in a college program for about 2 years so far from what I've seen, from just the video and the photos I've seen. These guys look like they're about 25 years old. They are pretty incredible. Let's see. But yeah, drop your thoughts down there on that. Welcome on Aaron, Carl's on, Juan. But yeah, share this out, guys. Let us know what you think. Let us know kind of some of your concerns, but we've got 3 more to go. But definitely tag anybody that you think might want to jump on here. But just thought it'd be cool to kind of look at some, some different, a different take of the program as we start spring. So just 5 concerns. I'm going to get this shared out to a couple of groups. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. Moving on to number 3. Number 3 concern, Wyatt mentioned it earlier in the comments, but is the pretty much the entire defensive front 7 is going to be gone. We're talking about Charles Omenihu, Brecken Hager, Chris Nelson, Anthony Wheeler, Gary Johnson, obviously the leading tackler. Huge loss. But I'm really confident in the linebackers that are going to replace these guys. We've seen some of these guys get some time and get some playing time before, but you can't underestimate the loss of experience in the front 7, which is really going to be huge. But I really think that with all that, you're going to see a lot of young guys get a lot of playing time, which I definitely don't mind that at all, but it's still comfortable to know that you've got your leaders there. If you guys have listened to these videos before, you know that I've said it countless times that the game is played from the line of scrimmage out. So, in that sense, it's the strength is closest to the line of scrimmage, is closest to the ball. I love our defensive backfield. I love the depth there. I love all the young guys. But I would feel a lot more comfortable if that strength and depth and talent and skill was closer to the line of scrimmage. To me, that's where the game is played, even in a pass-happy Big 12, with guys like Will Grier and Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. I would still rather see, number 1, pressure, disruption in the backfield. So losing that talent and experience in the front 7 is a huge concern for me. Welcome on, George. Welcome on, George. So number 4 is really just kind of looking at the schedule. The schedule is incredibly front-loaded. So by mid-October, we're looking at LSU, West Virginia, the Land Thieves, and the Pokies, Oklahoma State. Those are 4 really tough games by mid-October. And I don't necessarily mean to say this as a concern as that I'm overlooking the back half of the schedule. I just don't want to see this team trying to play catch up, from behind. West Virginia has a lot of turnover this year. LSU is going to be great. Oklahoma is obviously going to be great. Oklahoma recruited 3 of the top 4 receivers in the country. They're going to need those guys to replace Marquise Brown and really just their receiving core. And then Oklahoma State, yes, they're kind of on a decline, but we all know that Oklahoma State always plays Texas close or they win. We've been seeing that for a long time now. Jonathan says, defensive coordinator knows how to use what he has to create plays. Yeah, I definitely think so. I definitely think that, we're still going to continue to see an attacking style of defense, especially from the linebackers, and moving those guys around and trying to figure out ways to get them into the backfield to just disrupt things back there. Just create chaos in the backfield is really the idea, instead of trying to always read and react and go off of what the offense is doing, which is kind of, to me, that's kind of playing on your heels. Welcome, Jeff. What's up, brother? Jeff is the admin on Longhornaholics. That's a great group right there. Jeff is like adding fans almost daily to that group. So it's awesome. He's also got an awesome woodworking business. He's been creating some really, really cool Texas style. What do you call them, Jeff? Like light up, things for your Longhorns garage or your Longhorns man page. So go check that stuff out. But anyway, the front-loaded schedule, not my top concern, but it is a concern when you look at, you start the season, you get things rolling, and you're really hit right in the mouth right away. The downside of having a backloaded schedule is, risking guys being injured and not being able to play and not getting up for those big games. But I see enough leadership, definitely on offense, with Sam, with even some of the young linemen like Cosme and, those guys there, definitely a lot of leadership on offense. Losing pretty much your front seven on defense, you lose a lot of leadership. But Jonathan says OU's defense is a sleeper since replacing their D coordinator. Yeah, maybe. Actually, their defense was statistically worse after they fired Stoops as their defensive coordinator in the back half of their season, after the Longhorns beat them. But anyway, yeah, I don't think their defense is going to be worse in 2019, but I'd be surprised if they made that big of a leap. Lori says, hoping Jordan Whittingham adds a lot of depth to the team. Yeah, we talked about that as the first concern, the lack of depth and the lack of leadership at running back, but absolutely agree. I fully expect, Herman and those guys to figure out ways to just get the ball in his hands. That's what he did in high school. And Brew McCoy's that way too. And remember, these guys were recruited as athletes because they can kind of do it all. But totally expect that. Just figure out a way to get the ball in his hands and let him go make some plays for you. Which, again, that opens up the passing game. It opens up the running game when a defense has to account for a guy like that, even when he's just on the field. The fact, a guy like that, when he's just on the field, no matter where he lines up, you've got to account for a guy like that. So yeah, hopefully they get creative. You just have to get creative when you have a guy like that. Let's see. Chris says he thinks the D-line shouldn't be that much of a fall off. He's not too concerned about the defensive line. I would say I'm more concerned about the loss of the ability to get creative with guys that have experience. When you have guys that have a lot of experience, and coaches have confidence in those guys, so the coaches are allowed to get really creative in how to use a guy like Gary Johnson and Anthony Wheeler and a Minihue and Brecken Hager and Chris Nelson. All those guys are gone. So that's the tough part, is when you lose experience, sometimes coaches lose confidence. Okay, so guys, my number 5 reason why Texas may actually be worse in 2019, or may actually have come out with a worse record in 2019, is just the lack of game-breaking ability on offense. We just did not see that a lot at all last year, which is okay. You can definitely go to the college football playoff by having an offense that just wears defenses down. I actually prefer that style. Like, that's fun for me to watch, because that's when you just kind of impose your will physically, and it also allows the coaches to get kind of creative. If you can just grind it out and pound it in somebody's face. Still would like to see more of at least the threat of a game breaker. whether that's some of these freshmen like, Jordan Whittington or Jake Smith at receiver, figuring out ways to just get the ball in these guys' hands, or having the confidence to go over the top to Devin Duvernay, downfield, who's still one of the fastest players on the team. But and then we mentioned Kurt Johnson earlier, who's never made an impact his entire Texas career. It's just been constant potential with that guy, but he's been injured, so. Again, I would assume he would still be a junior, getting a medical red shirt. But, he's one of those guys that has just kind of hung around for a while, and we've kind of expected to see, the hype, but, nothing so far. Other guys, who am I not thinking of that, game-breaking ability? And it's just tough, with some of these freshmen with transitioning from high school when they were just the elite, all-world everything, and then coming into college where everybody's good, especially, you're competing with, teams like Oklahoma and West Virginia, and then just adjusting to the college life, right? Carl says, can you repeat the 5? Missed the first few. No problem, Carl. So basically we talked about the 5 reasons. We talked about the lack of depth and the lack of experience / leadership at running back. Okay. Oh, we also forgot to mention true freshman Darien Brown. If you guys have been keeping up with his news, was super scary 4 to 6 weeks ago. From what I read, and I'm not reporting this, but this is from what I understood, is that he had a blood clot in his head, and had surgery, and he's up and moving around now. He looks to be totally fine, but it was really scary there for a while. And Darien Brown was one of the top running backs out of Georgia, and he's going to be coming in too. So everything I'm seeing right now, he's fully expected to be totally ready for the fall. Where he is right now with the program, I'm not sure. I'll have to do a little bit of research. If you guys have read anything in the past week about Darien Brown's progress, but I forgot to mention him. But again, still lack of experience, leadership still goes with that. So Carl, that was number 1. Number 2 was LJ's ability to outbody defenders. We talked about who's going to fill that role. Likely could be Brew McCoy, maybe Joshua Moore at receiver in the slot, and just how much confidence that gave Sam with LJ's ability to just keep himself between the ball and the defender, and then get yards after the catch. And then number 3 was the loss of the front 7, the defensive front 7. All those seniors gone, all that experience, and really, how coaches have a lot of that gives coaches a lot of confidence when they have experience like that. And then number 4 was the front-loaded schedule. By mid-October, you're looking at LSU, West Virginia, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State by mid-October. So that's a little bit of a concern for me too, especially if these coaches are going to throw out a lot of these freshmen or redshirt freshmen from last year's class out. And so number 5, we talked about the lack of game-breaking ability. And if I were to put a 5A and a 5B, my 5B would be no Shane Buechele. Shane really accounted for a game and a half last year against Baylor and against Iowa State when Sam was hurt. The way Sam plays, sometimes you just got to hold your breath, that he doesn't get hurt again. Might we see him hurt for a while this season? Yeah, it's a really good chance. And we saw Shane step up and play great. And not just missing that backup quarterback, but just missing sort of that extra coach on the sideline and having that confidence. And even, Tom Herman and Tim Beck having the confidence in having a guy like Shane. He won't be there. You're looking at Rashawn Johnson, or Rashawn, is that how you say his first name? And then I went blank. The redshirt freshman from Oklahoma. Help me out here, guys. Casey Thompson. Those are your backups, really, to Sam. So the way Sam plays, his physical style, what he brings to the table as a runner, yeah, that concerns me too. So those are five-ish, six top concerns. See what you guys threw down here. Antoine says, we got guys who can be home run threats now. Yeah, I agree. To me, they're younger, but like Kirk Johnson is unproven. Devin Duvernay can definitely be that guy at receiver. Maybe Jake Smith is that guy, true freshman receiver. But, again, when you have a receiver core, Colin Johnson, Devin Duvernay, Jake Smith, Brew McCoy, Joshua Moore, maybe even mixing Jordan Whittington in there. Who's the other freshman? Wilk, can't think of his name now. Here's the thing. There aren't enough passes to go around for those guys to be amazing. There's just not, right? And I don't want to see Sam throw the ball 40 times a game. That's not good. That's not what this offense is. So, if you're going to spread the ball around, you're not going to see all of these guys make a big impact. It's just not going to happen. There aren't enough passes to go around. If you pass the ball 33 times a game, one receiver getting 5 catches is going to be pretty good. That's a pretty good game. Chris brings up John Burt. Yeah, John Burt is back. This is his 5th year, I guess. An elite track star, obviously. But yeah, we've seen John Burt do it. We've seen him deep ball threat, sideline. We've also seen him drop a lot of passes. So I'm not sure how much confidence Sam has in John, but yeah, he's definitely the speedster, deep ball type of threat. But I think that's going to come down to who Sam has the most confidence in and who Herman and Beck draw up the plays for. Carl says the talent and depth are there. Carl's concern is the inexperience. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, depth is there all over the field. Definitely defensive back. Should see Anthony Cook play a whole lot more, maybe even start. And the freshman last year, we'll be starting again. BJ, Caden Stearns, but yeah, everybody's excited about the new guys and the new talent. But we've seen 4- and 5-star guys come through Austin before and just disappear. Carl's feeling good about the O-line. I definitely. Last year's offensive line play as a unit, as a whole, was light years ahead of what we saw the past couple years. I think we've had better individual offensive linemen, but as a whole, as a unit, the line plays as a unit, definitely better, definitely a lot more confidence. Chris agrees about losing Shane, mostly him being like another coach for Sam. Shane had to give Sam a lot of confidence. Being on the sideline, being a super smart, understands football, has been around elite level sports all his life. Not that Sam hasn't, but Shane had the pedigree, with his dad and his family. But yeah, that had to give Sam a lot of confidence too, and also Herman and Tim Beck a lot of confidence to being able to do things maybe with Sam that they were confident in, that they had a fantastic backup ready to go in, which he did against Baylor and Iowa State. Shane was essentially a game and a half where he showed up big time. Are they going to have the same amount of confidence this year? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Yeah, Casey Thompson, that's right. Any word on Young at running back this spring? Daniel Young, don't know. I mean, I would still expect him to play the exact same role, kind of short yardage, goal line, bigger back. He, supposedly he comes in at about 230 pounds. So we'll see. I think Texas definitely does not have that Cody Johnson type of big running back that can get in there and just plow his way in that short yardage goal line like we've seen in the past. Antoine says Moore and Eagles got me excited. Yeah, Brennan Eagles is another one. Brennan Eagles will be a sophomore, I believe, unless he didn't play too much and earned a red shirt. I don't know. But yeah, Brennan Eagles, another big guy. Joshua Moore. Yeah, I mean, there's so much depth at running back. I mean, receiver. Joshua Moore, Brennan Eagles, Colin Johnson, Devin Duvernay, Jake Smith, Brew McCoy. I mean, all those guys aren't going to get enough passes to make an impact, but maybe they can use some of these guys to just get the ball in their hands. Hopefully the spring game will show us something April 13th. Carl, the wide receiver from Arizona. Yeah, Jake Smith. Definitely. I fully expect Brew McCoy and Jake Smith and Jordan Whittingham to get their hands on the ball this year as true freshmen. Texas has never been shy about playing true freshmen. Mac wasn't shy about playing true freshmen. I don't think Herman is at all. They still have to fit with the offense, right? I mean, they still have to fit in, just like, go back 2 years ago when it was Shane and Sam, trading snaps. What matters is who fits the offense. You can't do square peg and round hole. You've got to get these guys that actually fit with what you're trying to do with the offense. Antoine says Anthony Cook will be our boundary corner. Likely, yeah. I mean, I still think he might switch some. Yeah, Lawrence says the defensive front seven still has me worried. Yeah, we covered that as one of my top 5 concerns too. Jonathan says that Caden Stearns is a natural leader for the D. Absolutely. I think he kind of stepped up as a leader last year as a true freshman. He was a 5-star guy, obviously, but I don't think these seniors and juniors who have been around the program for 3, maybe 4 years, some of them it's their 5th year, I don't think they give a crap about how many stars these guys have by their name. Like I said, it's Austin. Everybody's a 4-star, 5-star recruit. Yeah, occasionally we'll have a 3-star guy, excel and just do phenomenal. But I think what matters is just the play on the field. Lead with your play. What's up, Mike? Mike has a top fan designation with a star. Mike says Shane is a class act, but let's not make him out to be elite. No, I don't think Shane, proved to be elite. I just think that his value was grossly overlooked by most fans. And I think we might see that this year. Especially the way Sam plays, right? Sam is in danger of getting hurt, just the way he plays. I think he can take it. Shane got hurt a lot, and he's just not the type of player that Sam is. Mike also follows up saying, I pray Sam works on his accuracy all offseason. He can get that up, win the Heisman. I thought Sam's accuracy just was phenomenally better from freshman to sophomore season. Definitely could get better in terms of, I believe, more zipping his passes, and coming up with plays to where we can hit these receivers in stride. But yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement, obviously, but Sam's never going to be an elite passer, okay? He's already an elite college quarterback. Carl says, I think the analyst brought in will help give new life to the program and add some new wrinkles. Yeah, possibly. The impact of those guys are really, really hard to see, because it's all behind the scenes. But I would say a good impact for those guys would be like, not tipping your hat at certain plays and certain formations, things that other coaches see that allow them to kind of out-coach you on certain plays and certain drives, and also, you know, maybe just mixing it up, like you said, Carl. You know, mixing in a few wrinkles and how to maximize and get the most of some of these guys. Hey guys, if you're liking this, don't forget to give it a like, thumbs up, share the video out, invite some people to like this. If you're catching this on the replay too, drop your comments. We'll try to respond if you're catching this on the replay, if you can't watch it live. But I definitely want to do more of these. I'm in talks with some former players, some agents of former players, to do more Facebook Live videos too. Let's see. Mike agrees. Matthew says, if we can get better in the secondary, I think we have a solid chance of the Big 12 championship. I mean, you know, the Big 12 is such a pass-happy, fast-moving league that, you know, yeah, that you have to have a good secondary, but man, it still, if every play is in shotgun, it still doesn't matter. If you can disrupt the offensive line and make the quarterback rethink, have to, you know, change his looks, if you can create chaos in the backfield, that's where every play starts, is the line of scrimmage. So the stronger the front seven is, the stronger the defensive backfield is. I don't believe it works the other way around. I don't think that better coverage necessarily equates to more chaos in the backfield. I think it's always the other way around. Tim says, whenever any team has a Heisman type returning quarterback, it helps tremendously. Yeah, definitely. I think it helps the locker room. I think it helps the brand of the program. I think it helps give the coaches tremendous confidence, even if Sam has a bad game. And I think, you know, Sam himself obviously is 100% embracing the role of a leader for the team. Not just the offense, but for the entire team. You know, he'll be a junior, so I definitely think it's his team. He plays like a leader. He talks like a leader, and that permeates everywhere. That's coaches, young guys, senior guys, locker room, everything. So yeah, having a guy like that and just knowing who your guy is, we haven't had that since Colt McCoy. We haven't. We've had some decent quarterback play. We've had some really, really bad quarterback play, but we haven't had an unquestioned number one leader talent at quarterback since Colt McCoy. So, you know, Sam emerged as that guy last year, and now he's entering in 2019, his junior year, as that guy. And we just haven't seen that since 2009, right? A decade. Chris likes the young guys at defensive line. He says experience helps, but guys like Wilbon, Jordan Wilbon and Graham need to step up at a level. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they can fill those shoes. It's definitely not going to be easy. Secondary is going to be nasty, Mike says. Totally agree. Lots of depth at secondary, and I think the defensive backfield is one where you can really get away with rotating guys, second, third string guys, you know, your nickel cornerback, mixing it up there, getting creative with those guys. You know, whether it's Caden Stearns or BJ Foster or Devontae Davis, Anthony Cook, man, the list just goes on and on. I mean, you literally could have a solid 12 that could be starters. Maybe not the young guys yet, not the true freshmen, but man, yeah, really, really, really exciting. Not just this year, but for the next several years. Brandon says offense is getting more speed and more athletic up front. Defense has a lot of potential, but lacking experience. Yeah, I definitely think I think where the offense's speed is in these young guys. If you guys remember, like Ramonce Taylor, man, just those guys that were able to just get creative and get the ball in their hands, those are game changers. Those are the type of guys that get 12 yards when it's 3rd and 8. Jake Smith, the true freshman from Arizona, seeing what he brings to the table. But as fans, we tend to get impatient when we want to see Brew McCoy. Well, get it in his hands. Get the ball in Jordan Whittington's hands. Get the ball in Jake Smith's hands. Well, what about Colin? What about Devin Duvernay? He's fast. Crap. You can't get the ball into 6 guys' hands 4 times each. It just doesn't work that way. Mike says, I think the key to our D being successful is a 4-man front. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Yeah, Antoine agrees with me. It begins and ends in the trenches. Definitely. The game is played from the line of scrimmage out. That's why the ball is snapped from the line of scrimmage. Everything starts there. And the further out you get, the safeties are called the last line of defense because that's it. There's nobody past them. Everything starts at the line. Offensive line, defensive line. If you're on offense and your O-line wins 75% of the battles, you're probably going to win the game. Let's see. Casey says play calling needs to be better. Yeah, I'm assuming you mean play calling on offense, Casey. I would definitely agree. Not just better, but I think it definitely got better. As the year went on. They got caught in these games like against West Virginia. West Virginia couldn't stop Texas offense, but our defense couldn't stop Will Greer. We saw that a lot, but yeah, definitely, maybe just more creative play calling, not just Sam obviously running the ball 3 or 4 times in a row from the 2-yard line. Maybe mix it up, something else. But that became less of a concern for me last year, but I definitely know what you mean. Carl says throws to the tight end along with the 12 receivers. Yeah, don't forget about the tight ends. Anthony Beck's gone, but we got some other guys coming in there at tight end. But that's probably a wrap for me, guys. I really appreciate the comments. Like I said, if you've got anything else, throw them in there now. If you're catching this on the replay, definitely still put in your comments. Please be respectful of other people's comments if you want to reply. But definitely don't forget to give the video a like, share it out, and tag anybody in here that you think might be interested in joining in. I really want these videos to be a place for you guys to talk. My intention is not to be a talking head. I really think there's a platform lacking for fans to actually talk to each other and meet each other. You kind of get that on message boards, but I also want to do some more Facebook Lives with some of you guys, to get to know you guys. Show off your Longhorns garage or your man cave. Antoine says the game plan can always be adjusted to do what works, exploit the mismatches. Yeah, I think so, but I also think that you still got to stick with who you are. We finally saw the offense have an identity last year. It was really just kind of a physical, in-your-face, grinded out offense who was just going to move the chains. But definitely you've got the depth to get creative with your game plan, but you still have to stick with what you're good at and stick with your identity. Chris says, even though we are looking to fill some spots, this team will be riding on confidence. Yeah, definitely. Finishing the season with a Sugar Bowl win against Georgia, a ton of confidence, definitely, riding into that big front-loaded schedule with those 4 big games before mid-October is definitely going to make a difference. But and especially for these young guys who are filling these big roles, that's got to give them a ton of confidence. Renee, am I pronouncing your name right? Renee Rodriguez. Better protection for Ellinger and aggressive defense. Got to go to the top 5. Yeah, I thought the protection for Sam last year was good, but yeah, I mean, anytime you've got a guy like that who's a running threat, you're probably going to have an extra defender, assigned to him or spying him. But yeah, we got to keep Sam healthy, right? Because he's going to risk some injury on his own by